Hey everybody, hope your day is going well. Today we're going to check out a video that is pretty recent. For once, I'm not 5 years late to a video. I got this link from a subscriber. Thank you for that. And I thought, hey, this is interesting. 10 old house styles no longer built today. I think it is in the US. So, I'm Belgian. I'm not really familiar with what styles of houses that are built or not built anymore, but I am interested in it. So let's check this out. The only thing I am aware of is like Victorian. So is that one of the things that is going to be featured here, or is that still being built or just preserved? All right, let's see if we can learn something.
Imagine living in a house with 8 symmetrical sides, or one made entirely with enameled steel panels. Here are 10 old home styles that were
Damn,
once
that's huge.
popular but are no longer commonly built today.
These houses, you see them, I watch a lot of American films and series, and you see some of these things like these are like castles. Jeez. Kind of scary looking sometimes too, kind of scary looking depending on, the color grading, depending on which setting or how kept up it is. But damn, that's huge, man.
Octagon houses were a unique
Octagon.
architectural trend that started in the mid-19th century, largely due to the influence of Orson Squire Fowler. He promoted the idea that octagonal homes were more efficient, offering
Really?
better airflow, natural light, and space utilization. Unlike traditional rectangular houses, octagon houses enclosed about 20% more space with the same perimeter, making them cost-effective and energy efficient. Many of these homes featured flat roofs with central cupolas, wraparound verandas, and innovative heating and water collection systems. Despite their
Nice.
advantages, octagon houses never became mainstream and gradually faded from popularity in the early 1900s.
Why?
Some well-preserved
Whoa.
examples, like the
Look at this
Longwood
thing.
Mansion in Mississippi and the Octagon House in Watertown, Wisconsin,
That's not a
still
house?
exist today.
That's a
Fowler's own
fortress.
octagonal home, known as Fowler's Folly, was so extravagant that it was abandoned and eventually demolished in 1897.
Oh, that's a shame.
Queen Anne's
Yo, I do like the flat roofs because, I'm here. I can touch my, diagonal roof here. You get those things like skylights, I guess you call them in English. We call them velu, so dakram, that's the good word. But, when you're sleeping and it's raining, man, and if it's really raining hard, yo, it is what it is. We're still inside, right?
style architecture became popular in the
Queen
U.S.
Anne style.
between 1880 and
I kind of
1910,
like that, though.
replacing
Dang.
the French-inspired Second Empire style. This design
Whoa.
featured asymmetrical facades, large porches, and decorative woodwork, often
nice.
with patterned shingles and towers. Unlike its British namesake, American Queen Anne homes were more whimsical, with varied roof lines and
Yeah.
intricate details. The style spread across the country, influencing row houses, mansions, and even smaller cottages. After 1900, it began to fade, giving way to simpler colonial revival designs. However, some Queen Anne features, like wraparound porches, continued into the 1920s.
It's
The
kind of
most
nice,
famous
those
example
porches.
of this style is the Carson Mansion in Eureka,
Whoa.
California, considered one of the most photographed Victorian houses in the country.
So that's Victorian.
The,
Okay. Okay. Yo, I can't lose that fact that it's a little scary. I don't think I want to be alone in that house. I don't, every noise I would hear, I would be like, "Ooh, what's that? Hello, help." Yo, damn, it's nice, those porches, even when it's raining, you could kind of sit outside, but then you never do, that's the thing. We have this porch so we can sit outside when it's raining, but then you never go outside. At least that's how we do it in Belgium. We just want to say we have it, right?
American Foursquare could be found from the mid-1890s to the late 1930s. It was a reaction against the highly decorative Victorian homes of the 19th century, favoring a simpler, more practical
Yeah,
design.
kind of flat looking.
These homes were typically
that's not
2.5 stories tall, with a square, boxy shape, providing maximum interior space on small city lots. Also known as the Prairie Box, it shared many features with the prairie architecture pioneered by Frank Lloyd Wright. They often featured a large front porch, a hipped roof with a central dormer, and built-in cabinetry influenced by the Craftsman style. Many American Foursquares were sold as mail-order homes, with companies like Sears and Aladdin shipping pre-cut materials for easy assembly.
Interesting.
This style was particularly common in Midwestern urban neighborhoods and streetcar suburbs, where efficient, affordable housing was in high demand.
Man, that is so different than the building styles that we use. Of course, we use a lot more brick, I guess. Maybe that's because of earthquakes and stuff. That more wooden houses are being built in the US. I don't know the other reasons. There's only one wooden house I know in my city, only one, and it's pretty recent. Reminds me a little bit of this. Might have been taken inspiration from the US, maybe from Scandinavia, I'm not sure. But it's very, very different. Like, we don't really have porches over here. Not really. We don't have porch culture.
The American Craftsman
porches.
style emerged in the early 20th century as part of the arts and crafts movement, emphasizing handcrafted design and natural materials. It became especially popular in California, where small single-family homes known as California bungalows spread widely. Inspired by the prairie style and shingle style, Craftsman homes featured low-pitched roofs, exposed beams, and built-in furniture. The movement was influenced by figures like Gustav Stickley, who published the Craftsman magazine to promote the style.
This is only one floor then, or this is just like storage space here in the roof? It's kind of nice if you can't really get on stairs anymore, when you're less mobile, or it could be, easier to not have any stairs in you.
The British arts and crafts movement,
although here
American
we have to
designers
get
made
upstairs.
handcrafted homes more affordable for the middle class. The style started to decline by the 1930s, replaced by more modern architectural trends. One of the most famous examples of Craftsman architecture is the Gamble House in Pasadena, California, built between 1908 and 1909 by Green and Green.
Hey, why do I think Davy Crockett in Disneyland has a similar type of design? Disneyland Paris. I don't really know anything about these design styles. It's very fascinating to me. I like it. I like seeing these different styles, and it seems to me like America, you have a little bit more space to do these type of things. And here we all are boxed in, a lot of row houses, rows after rows after rows. Old cities, of course, very close to each other. Some suburban areas have more freestanding houses, but more closer together. Probably because we have less room, I guess.
The shotgun house is a narrow, rectangular home style that was especially common in the southern states from the late 19th century through the 1920s. These houses are typically only about 12 feet wide and feature rooms arranged in a straight line, with no hallways, so that a person could theoretically fire a shotgun through the front door and have the blast exit cleanly out the back. The design likely originated in New Orleans, influenced by Haitian and West African architecture from the early 1800s. Shotgun houses were inexpensive to build and allowed for high-density housing in growing urban areas. They were often constructed close together to maximize land use and take advantage of natural ventilation in hot climates. Many fell into disrepair in the mid-20th century due to urban renewal projects, but recent gentrification has led to their restoration in some areas. Elvis Presley was born in a shotgun house in Tupelo, Mississippi, which is now preserved as a museum.
Why do you have always, I've seen this a lot in films, these crawl spaces beneath, because it's elevated, of course. This is for the porch, the stairs. Why is it elevated? Is this because it's for flooding, so we don't have flooding, or is it for something else, ventilation? Let me know if you know that. I always wondered why that is. There must be a reason. I just don't know what it is.
Tudor Revival architecture, also known as mock Tudor, became popular in the United States in the early 20th century. Inspired by medieval English homes, it featured steeply pitched roofs, decorative half-timbering, and tall brick chimneys. Wealthy Americans in the 1920s and 30s favored Tudor Revival homes, especially in suburban neighborhoods. The style was associated with Old World charm and craftsmanship, making it appealing to those seeking a historic aesthetic. New York City suburbs like Westchester County, Englewood, and Teaneck have many Tudor Revival homes from this time. After World War II, the popularity of Tudor Revival declined as more modern, efficient home styles emerged. By the 1970s and 1980s, builders in the U.S. simplified the style with synthetic materials rather than real wood, making them easier to maintain. The Dutch colonial revival style became fashionable in the early 20th century as part of America's nostalgia or colonial architecture. It is known for its distinctive gambrel roof, which resembles the roof of a barn, and wide overhanging eaves.
Looks like the shape the barn from Superman. That's how the barns look, right? But then red, maybe red wood. Yeah. And there's always these houses, these designs. When you start to look at them, it looks like it has eyes and a nose, right? We're starting to anthropomorphize these things.
Wide overhanging eaves. The style was inspired by the original Dutch colonial homes built by settlers in the 17th and 18th centuries, mainly in New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania.
You know what? I would say we would find this more in where Belgium has the French-speaking area, like in the Ardennes, Les Ardennes, and sometimes in France as well. These not entirely the same, but very similar.
In New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania. Unlike the early stone and brick structures, Dutch colonial revival homes were often made with wood siding and featured large dormer windows for added space and light. The design also commonly included a symmetrical facade, a central entry door, and decorative shutters. This architectural style remained popular through the 1930s, especially in the northeastern U.S. One of the most famous Dutch colonial revival homes is 112 Ocean Avenue in Amityville, New York, which became infamous due to the Amityville horror legend.
Oh yeah, that sounded familiar.
Lustron homes were prefabricated, all-steel houses built in the late 1940s to address the post-World War II housing shortage. Designed by industrialist Carl Strandlund, they were meant to be durable, low-maintenance alternatives to traditional wooden homes. Each house was made of enameled steel panels and built from a kit containing over 3,000 parts.
Man, it looks like a puzzle.
The Lustron Corporation planned to produce tens of thousands of these homes, but financial problems and government intervention led to its bankruptcy in 1950.
Ouch.
Despite their short production run, over 2,000 Lustron homes were built, and many still stand today. They were designed to be easy to clean, and their interiors featured metal walls, built-in storage.
Is that kind of a dishwasher type thing? There's another thing. This is totally off topic, but it's still in-house. What we do not have in Europe, and I've never really understood it, only because I've seen it in films, is garbage disposal. Is that still in use, or was that a thing of the past that used to be? Like, you just throw things in the sink and then mush it or something? Where does it go? Does it go in the drain? Where do you need to take it out in the trash? Hey, if I'm gonna finally know this answer, I'm gonna know more than 99% of Belgians. I bet nobody in Belgium knows about it. How does it work? I don't know.
Interiors featured metal walls, built-in storage, and even a unique combination clothes and dishwashing machine. Some Lustron homes were even exported to Venezuela for oil industry workers. The Atomic Ranch was a type of mid-century modern home that became popular after World War II. It was a variation of the classic ranch-style house, but featured sleek modern designs with open floor plans. Architect Cliff May helped popularize the ranch house in the 1930s, drawing inspiration from Spanish colonial homes in California. By the 1950s, 9 out of 10 new homes in America were ranches due to their affordability and practicality. Atomic Ranch homes often had large picture windows, clear-story windows, and flat or butterfly roof lines to create an indoor-outdoor feel. They were also known for their bold colors and futuristic, space-age design elements. One of the most famous builders of Atomic Ranch homes was Joseph Eichler, who helped spread the style across California. Brutalist homes were a bold architectural style that emerged in the 1950s and gained popularity through the 60s and 70s.
Brutalist.
These homes featured
Whoa.
raw concrete, geometric shapes, and a
What is it?
minimalist aesthetic
Holy-
that rejected decorative elements.
Man, that's interesting, dude. I like when people try different styles and architects come up with all these different designs, which maybe not hit the mainstream or may not be as functional. But it's kind of cool to see all these different styles of
The
houses.
style was inspired by modernist architects like Le Corbusier and was meant to emphasize function over form. Many brutalist homes were built as social
Whoa.
housing
It's like
or
a
university
tree.
buildings, particularly in socialist countries where concrete symbolized equality. However, by the late 1970s, the style began to decline as
Like
people
industrial.
associated it with urban decay and cold, uninviting designs. Despite
not
this,
warm.
some brutalist buildings have gained cultural significance and are now protected landmarks. The word brutalism comes from the French term béton brut, meaning raw concrete, not from the word brutal.
Oh, really?
So, if you could bring back one style of home, what would it be? Drop a comment down below to tell us your favorite home design.
Wow. Did you see how that sped up? I just held my mouse. Is that kind of a feature I never knew in YouTube? You speed up just by holding it down or something. Hey, that was very interesting. I don't know. There's, the beginnings, the first couple of houses, I really like that design. Really beautiful stuff. It's not uniform like a lot of the things are now, the little boxes, that song. Here in Belgium too, we have a lot of, new developments. It's all a little bit similar. Of course, inside it's very practical and stuff and modern and up to date. And you don't really have a lot of work inside anymore, and upkeep, which is practical. But, the aesthetics, it's very personal, of course. But I really enjoyed this video. And I learned a few things. Hopefully, I learned some more in the comments. I had a few questions, if you have some time or you're willing to share some of that. I truly appreciate that. Thank you for spending some time with me. Hope to see you in another one. Peace.